All right, guys, joined by South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley, freshman guard Tyasha Harris, and junior forward Asia Wilson. Coach, we'll start with the opening statement.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, Coach.
I am. We're just excited to move to the second round. We look forward to the challenge of playing a really tough Arizona State team tomorrow night.
We'll take questions for the student athletes. If you'll raise your hand, we'll get you a microphone. Jeffrey.
Asia, what do you remember about last year's, or I guess it would have been the last season's game against Arizona State and Hawaii?
It was very, very physical. It was a very just tough game to play, I guess. We were in a nice place, though. We were in Hawaii. But the team was very tough. They compete for 40 minutes, and that's something that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to know how to play through the physicality of this team. But they are a tough team, and we're just going to have to come out and execute our game plan for them.
Ben?
With how often you guys have done this, does the one-day turnaround get any easier? And did you guys look at or think about Arizona State at all before winning last night?
I don't think so. I think our main focus was taking care of UNC Asheville. But the turnaround, I mean, you kind of get used to it, especially coming off of SEC tournament where you're playing like kind of back to back to back. So, I mean, it's kind of easy turning the page, and that's what we're gonna have to do. And we haven't really focused on them until this morning. So that's the next person that's on our list. So we're just gonna take care of that.
Got any other questions for student athletes?
For Ty, it seemed like Arizona State's point guards and guard play was very physical last night. As you look ahead and were able to kind of take a look at them last night, how do you feel you're going to be able to attack their guard play?
They are very physical, but I feel like we need to stay poised and calm and just run the game plan.
Rick?
Ty, just curious, after playing your first NCAA tournament game, what is your overall impression of just the atmosphere, and did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, it was amazing. Anybody can get you, I know that for sure. So I feel like we just need to stick with the game plan and continue doing us.
Anything else for Ty or Asia? All right, you guys can head on back to the locker room. By the way, the locker room is open for the next 27 minutes. Questions for Coach Staley? Ben?
First off, just what kind of stands out about the style Arizona State plays?
Just well coached. I mean, you could tell watching them on film. Well coached. They play extremely hard. They're a really good rebounding team, really good defensive team. A team that plays for 40 minutes, whether they're up or down. That's something that they're real consistent with. And just, glad that, we get a chance to host them. If it's, I think it's to our advantage to, get a lot of people in the stands and put some energy in this building to help us get a win against a good team.
In the back?
Coach, Arizona State faces a situation in the Pac-12 where they're playing a lot of Friday, Sundays in conference. And admittedly, I haven't looked at your schedule closely enough to see how often you face that in the SEC. What kind of challenges are there for you to get that quick a turnaround to play another team about 48 hours after your first game?
Well, we don't. We get 2 days in the SEC, but like Asia said, when you're coming off of postseason play like our SEC tournament where you don't have, you only get 24 hours to prepare. So it's coming off that type of situation. A day seems like a lifetime, especially, coming off of our SEC tournament play. But it's enough time for us to prepare. It's the same amount of time that Arizona State gets to prepare for us. And, we don't know each other. Pac-12, you know each other. You know what tendencies, year in and year out. But when you play out of conference, it's about the same amount of time that you need to prepare, that you have to prepare. So I don't think you gain, any advantage on it.
Jeffrey.
Dawn, you said you've watched some film of Arizona State, and I know you were out there yesterday watching them on the court. Their coach said that was one of their most complete games because they finally got everybody healthy. Do you see a different Arizona State team yesterday than you see in the film earlier this season?
Yeah, that's the best I've seen them play on both sides of the ball. They're known as a great defensive team and a great rebounding team, but coupled with the way they shot the ball extremely well. They're big inside. It was 100% from the floor. They just seem like they're in a groove. They're got some fluidity to their offense, and we have to find a way to try to disrupt that and not give them, as many practice shots in which, it just seems like nobody was around them and they're able to knock them down. So, hopefully we can have some disruption and not allow them to comfortably shoot the ball as well as they did last night.
Ben?
Coach, you mentioned how strong they are on the boards. Are they the kind of team that can sort of test some of your smaller groups and stress them a little on that front?
Yeah, this is probably the game in which we will be tested as far as our ability to rebound the ball, our ability to box out, our ability to not get out rebounded. So hopefully we'll come up with a game plan that can prevent them from out rebounding us.
Jeffrey.
Dawn, do you wish the NCAA or whoever set things up for tomorrow had found a way that maybe there would have been more gap between the time of your game and the time of the men's game, so people might have been able to get to both?
Yeah, with it having, we're having as much time as we've had because we played a lot earlier. And, you can also foresee that, if South Carolina wins like they did last night, that you would want to not split a fan base because they like to talk about fan bases. And we do draw. Both our men's program draws pretty good. We draw pretty good. And I have tip time just kind of right after our game, so to speak. I think it would be helpful, so both of our fan bases, our fan bases can see both games.
Ben?
I'm guessing you were obviously working a lot last night, but did you get a chance to watch any of the men's game? And I guess what was it like watching your counterparts be able to do what they did?
I did watch the game. I was working and watching. It was great. It was great to see them kind of pull away, being down 10 and then the incredible run they went on after being down 10 to the end of the game. It's magical. It's something that, 5 years ago, maybe, no one really had the patience to see this particular day for our men's basketball program, but it's one that you could see building. When you're in the game and when you're in the sport and when you coach it and you've been in that situation before, that it's going to happen one day. You just want the people around here to be patient enough to let the process happen. And if they do, good things will happen, just like last night.
Rick?
Dawn, just to follow up on that, how special is it to have both the men and the women in the NCAA tournament for the first time since you've been here, and what does that do you think, to the overall perception around the country about South Carolina and their basketball programs?
Well, it feels real good. Our administrators put us in a great position to be successful. All sports here at the University of South Carolina. And again, once you're patient enough to trust the process, especially with the people that, the administrators have hired, great people, great coaches, great teachers. When you're able to trust the process a little bit, you can see the works that have been put in throughout the years, and it only raises up the level of our athletics department, knowing that when you're supported, you can be very successful when you're supported in the way that we are.
In the back.
Coach, I know your responsibilities with USA Basketball are not top of mind at the moment, but do you envision, and maybe you've done this as an assistant, consulting with other coaches like a Charlie Turner-Thorne for just ideas or advice as you put some ideas in place about what kind of team you want in the championships coming up in the Olympics?
I'm going to draw on a lot of our coaches around the country. I think it's we have the best talent pool of players, and I think we have the best talent pool of coaches to draw on. But certainly, what our coaches bring to the table, you can't leave any stone unturned. Obviously, it's a big challenge ahead. Leading our USA basketball teams, and I don't want to spread myself too thin in asking 100 different coaches, because you gotta pick something and go with it. And a lot of times I'm going to go with what's worked for me and what's worked with USA basketball. So a lot of film watching, a lot of conversations with some coaches, and then you figure out what works best. But I think what's going to work best is when our coaching staff, our USA basketball coaching staff, gets to put our hands on the pool of players that are selected to represent our country.
Anything else for Coach Staley? All right. Just a reminder that the locker room will be open for 18